Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a lovely day. Now today's video is going to be my experience of having an adult tonsillectomy. I had my tonsillectomy now a month ago, and I thought this video, I have to make this video because I was absolutely petrified about having the procedure done, and I wanted to let people know my experience of how everything went. I could give people maybe some tips and some tricks that could maybe help them if they're an adult. It's what I have to say first of all as well, an adult tonsillectomy and a child tonsillectomy. If you don't know what tonsillectomy is, it's basically having your tonsils out. As an adult, they really, sorry, let's put my remote down, they really don't like to take your tonsils out as an adult. It has to be, you have to have quite severe throat problems and maybe ear problems and other stuff going on for them to even, you know, suggest it. I think sometimes they can actually look at your tonsils and say, oh my god, they just don't look right, which kind of was what happened in my case. And I've had problems with my tonsils for years and years and years, but it's extremely hard to get your tonsils out on the NHS, you know, point blank if you're an adult. So I'll give you a little bit of background to my story. I've been having tonsillitis since I was a child. I can't remember not having tonsillitis. I'd get it so severe, and I had a break from having it for a little while. I don't know how old I was, maybe in my 20s, but I'd get tonsillitis every year, multiple times a year. I'd have ear problems as well. I'd get ear infections as well. I don't know if that's related to the tonsillitis or not, but it's all kind of linked together, isn't it, for your nose and throat? But yeah, so I actually went to the hospital about something else to do with my ears, because I was getting ear infections and stuff like that. Went to the doctor, had MRIs done on my brain and things like that. Oh sorry, not MRIs, I had a CT scan. Anyway, so I went to see the consultant. He looked at my throat and said to me, your tonsils are big, they don't match, you know, do you want these out? And of course I said yes. I've been having loads and loads of problems with tonsillitis as well, and I just thought I was going to have to now put up with this for the rest of my life. So obviously for them to offer it to me, I had to take it up. I couldn't say no. Yeah, so I'm going to walk you through everything. I was petrified. I'd never had a general anaesthetic before. I was worried about that. That was all going through, horrible things were going through my head with that, and I also was reading up on the internet people's experiences, and some of them were horrific, and it made me terrified. People saying worse than childbirth, worse pain they've ever had. I'm going to get into the pain levels in a minute. So just through my experience, obviously everyone is different. Mine wasn't painless at all. It was painful, but yeah, I'm going to go through everything with you. So obviously what will happen is you'll have your pre-op done, and as long as everything's okay with your pre-op, then you'll go through to have your appointment and you'll have your surgery. So on the day of the surgery, I got there, lovely people at the hospital, at Gillingham Hospital. I have to say they were brilliant, absolutely lovely. So took me through, I got changed, you know, into my sort of gowny thing. I had some nice thick socks as well, because I always get really cold feet, so I had those on. And yeah, it was really, the actual procedure itself, the actual doctor who was going to, surgeon who was going to do my tonsillitis, came over and spoke to me and said it's so quick, it takes them 10 to 15 minutes to get the tonsils out, so really fast. So one thing I was worried about was the anaesthetic, because I've never had an anaesthetic before. I was worried about waking up and stuff, but when I actually looked at the statistics of anybody actually dying from general anaesthetic, it's so low, so then that kind of went out of my head a little bit. But anyway, so went through to the, you know, got changed into my gown and everything. Then they took me through to where they were sort of preparing me for the surgery. So they put like these things on you, I think it's to monitor your heart, things like that. And obviously you'll be on a bed and you'll be lying down. So you'll also be given numbing, you'll be asked if you want to have numbing stuff where they put the thing in you. I can't remember what it's called. I got numbing stuff put in my hands just so it's less painful when they put all the, you know, all the anaesthesia through to you with the needles and stuff. So don't worry, you don't see anything, But if you don't like needles, that is, needles don't really bother me, but I know a lot of people are scared of needles, but you don't really see anything because you're laying down and you don't have to look. But anyway, so I've never had an anaesthetic before. I was terrified of that. And so what happened is when I started to have the anaesthetic, I know some people love it. I don't know why people love having an anaesthetic. I didn't enjoy one bit of it. But anyway, so when they start giving you the anaesthetic, what I noticed is everything was like literally going like this. And I was like, oh my god, it was horrible. And then they were sort of talking to me about holidays and stuff like that, obviously trying to put you at ease. And then what they then sort of said to me was, you know, think about your, you know, lovely holiday you want to go on, or something's coming up you're looking forward to. And then they sort of said, dream about that. So I started feeling dizzy, and within a couple of seconds, gone. absolutely gone. Then you'll wake up in the recovery room. I was worried about the amount of pain I'd be in the recovery, so woke up, somebody, sort of a nurse, sort of saying, Gemma, you know, wake up. And I think I woke up quite quickly. And they sort of said to me, you know, what the first thing they'll probably ask you is what your pain level. I did have quite a sore throat, so I said level 8, so I straight away got given morphine. And I was feeling quite dizzy and sick and tired. You know, just waking up from an anaesthetic, so I'm guessing all of this is normal, but I was feeling very, very tired, dizzy and sick. So when they can, they'll wheel you your bed back round to everyone else. We're basically where you came into, where your little room is, where they're going to monitor your blood pressure, you know, just monitor you after your surgery once you can come out of recovery. So once I came out of recovery, I was wheeled through there with everybody else. And one thing I'm going to say, if anybody, when you have the anaesthetic, if you're feeling sick at all, tell them, because I didn't tell them soon enough. I was feeling nauseous on and off the whole time I was there till I went home. I went home on the same day. I had my surgery around 11:45 in the morning, or around about 12 noon, and I managed to go home. I went home actually at 9 o'clock the same evening. So if you're in the morning, they might let you go home in the, you know, the same day. If you're later on, they might want to keep you over. Well, they will keep you over, more than likely to, you know, monitor you. So was wheeled back round, and I was feeling sick, but I was just kind of ignoring it. I did sort of mention it to them. I said it was sort of coming in waves, but anyway. So if you do feel sick, I'd mention it really, really early on, because they can give you medication to sort of stop the sickness feeling, you know, because they can give you stuff for that. Don't do what I did and just not say anything to begin with. If you feel sick, please say something, because it will help you feel better in the long run. So, and the first thing as well they're going to want you to do, once you're a bit more with it, you know, because also you just had an operation, you're not with it, you've got a sore throat, is they're going to want you to eat. The one other thing I noticed straight away was when I came round, I had a sense of fullness all around here. It's probably just where it was swelling, which is obviously normal. Sense of fullness in the ear, and especially on this side in the ears, and just full, and like a little bit full, you know, a bit of swell. I'm guessing that was just swelling. So that's the first thing I noticed, and then obviously feeling a bit sick, and obviously you get the sore throat. But the sore throat at that point, even though it was bad, after they gave me something for it, loads better I felt. I felt really well, apart from feeling the sickness a bit on and off. I didn't feel too bad. Obviously feel tired and dizzy. So as I said, wheel back round, and then what they're going to want you to do is eat straight away. I'd say don't worry about that at all when you wake up. Do you want to know why? Because you've still got so much anaesthesia. I was given morphine, you're on so much pain medication. Eating at that point is the easiest it's going to be, okay? Do not worry about that. I was terrified about eating, and how am I going to eat? They didn't make me eat toast. Some people didn't make you eat toast. They didn't make me eat toast. They gave me jelly, they gave me ice cream, and then I had some pasta after that. So please don't worry about that. That's the least of you really don't need to worry about eating then. Later on down the road your throat will be sorer, but when you come out from surgery, it's one of the easiest times when it comes to, after they've given you some extra pain medication, when it comes to eating, you know. So please don't worry. I ate no problem at all. My boyfriend was like, blinking hell, how are you managing to eat like this, you know? I was like, easy, you know. So I was there for a bit. I had a problem with my blood pressure, which is quite common, I believe. My blood pressure was quite low, very low. So I was touch and go. I could go home the same day, but in the end it did settle itself out, though. It did take a long time. I'd say, I think I got wheeled round about 3 o'clock, and I was allowed to go home at 9. Around about those times, I'm not sure exact times, because obviously I wasn't with it 100%. Drugged up to the eyeballs. So later on is when I started to feel more nauseous, more sick. I did tell somebody, and they gave me a pill to try and combat it. I think it was probably a bit too late then. I should have mentioned it before. So once I was given the okay to go home, they'll give you your pain medication. I got given paracetamol and codeine. Paracetamol, you can get that anywhere, so just make sure you stock up beforehand. And I don't think they like you to have ibuprofen, I believe, to do bleeding. I could be wrong, but they don't offer you that. But they offered me codeine, high strength codeine. But what I warn you now is they will not give you enough for the full 2 weeks. I got about enough for about 4 days, so I had to call my doctor, but I'll get onto that in a minute. So be prepared that, you know, you're going to need to probably call your doctor if you're in severe pain or any pain. You're going to need to call your doctor to get some more painkillers, you know, not just a paracetamol, but super strong painkillers, because you will be in pain. It's unlikely you won't have any pain. So went home that evening, and as soon as I was allowed to go home, I got indoors and I felt beyond sick. I was feeling sick before I left. They did know I felt sick, but it was just getting worse and worse as I got outside. And then as soon as I got in, another thing that I want you to do, try and drink when you're in your bed at the hospital. Try and drink a lot of water. That'll help with your blood pressure, and lay down with your feet slightly elevated and your head back, because I was sitting upright before. I wanted to sit upright, but they made me lay down just because my blood pressure was low, but this would help. So I drank loads and loads of fluids. You need to also make sure you have a wee before you go home. So anyway, got home, felt so sick, and then I started vomiting severely. That terrified me. I had a mini panic attack because obviously you got loads of acid that was coming up. I actually didn't even have a bucket. I've got to tell you stuff now, it's TMI. I didn't have a bucket to be sick in, but I had a big huge measuring jug. I think I was sick over 3 litres. Okay, so because I drank so much water, I couldn't stop being sick. And obviously when you've just had throat surgery, being sick is not a good thing. And yeah, I started to have a real panic attack, so I started feeling really, really poorly, rough, but then I calmed myself down and felt a bit better. And yeah, I was really, really sick after I don't know if that's to do with the anaesthesia, the medication, or probably a combination of everything. I felt severely sick, so be warned, before you have the surgery, get yourself painkillers. Get yourself some anti-sickness pills. You can go to a chemist and they'll recommend the best ones for you. Be prepared that you're going to have to call your doctor up to get some more painkillers as well, okay? Get some extra pillows. Get some heat pads for around your neck. If you can buy them, about 3 of them for about £5 in the supermarket. That will help you. And also, I was worried about what I could and couldn't eat. Certain things were horrible, but I'll get into that in a minute. So I was really, really sick, which obviously didn't help anything. So anyway, I managed to get like an hour and a half to 2 hours sleep for that evening. That morning, woke up, I was sick again. Was I sick again the next day? I was sick again the next day, but it kind of calmed down later on in the evening. I still felt really, really sick. That was actually bothering me more than the throat at that point. I was feeling so sick, but that did calm down. That was on sort of the first day after surgery. Day 2 after surgery, I felt a little bit sick, but the sickness feeling, the nauseous feeling was wearing off, which was good. Throat pain. At that point, I'd say it was about a 5 out of 10, not too bad, just like a sore throat really. Make sure you put your alarm on for your painkillers. Have your painkillers every 4 hours, and try and do it in between like an hour before you eat, or 30 minutes before you eat, okay? Especially the codeine. Not so much worrying about the paracetamol, but the codeine. And I wouldn't say take the codeine when you need to take them, especially before eating. However, if you take too much codeine, like myself, you won't be able to go to the toilet. I won't go into too much detail, but you won't be able to go for the toilet for about a week. Yeah, about a week. So anyways, you get the gist of that. So anyway, put your alarm on for your painkillers. Very, very, very important. I even did mine through the night as well. So, and I didn't get loads of sleep anyway, especially to begin with. So yeah, so day 2, still felt nauseous. I managed to eat. I was eating normally as such. Your throat pain in the first, say, 5 days isn't as bad. It tends to get worse after your throat starts to scab over. But anyway, I'll get into that in a minute. But I'd say days 2 and 3, I was still feeling a bit nauseous, but on day 3 it near enough gone. And up to day 5, the pain was very, very similar. I'd say the pain level in the throat was probably about 6. I had a bit of relative ear pain, but I felt just drained, exhausted. I didn't feel very well in myself. I felt poorly, but the throat pain at that point was kind of the least of my worries. I was just exhausted. Exhausted. Really, really tired, and just felt generally unwell, So from day 6, everything kind of changed for me. It was day 6 or day 7, I can't remember which day it was. What happens is when you leave the hospital, they'll say, your throat will scab, and it goes into a big load of white gunk at the back of your throat, which is normal. It means your throat is healing. It doesn't mean you've got a throat infection. It means your throat is healing. If you have a look, it's absolutely disgusting. You also need to keep a note out for if it bleeds. If you get a bleed, a teeny speckles of blood I believe is normal, but if you get a load of bleeding, you'll need to go back to the doctors. If you're older, after, there's a higher chance you're going to get a bleed and they have to operate again and do stuff to it, so keep an eye out for that. So in case that happened, I was told I kept ice poles or ice lollies in my freezer. I read online that was good. Luckily I didn't need to use them, but that's what I kept in my freezer. And eating wise was relatively easy. I managed to basically eat anything I really wanted. I try and eat. It will be sore, like I said, it will be about a level 6, maybe a level 7, but it will be sore, but it's not unmanageable, but up to the first 5 to 6 days. But please try and eat, because if you don't eat, for not only are you going to feel really even more rubbish than you already do, you're not going to aid the healing. You need to eat for your throat to heal, you know. So make sure you eat, push through it, even if it takes you an hour to eat. Do it. That's what I did, and I didn't get any throat infections or anything like that. So day 6, I think it was, or 5, 6, was when everything changed for me, and the level of pain basically went from, say, a level 6, 7, so it was, I mean, manageable still, you know, to 10. What happened was, what happens, your throat, your scabs will start to come off your throat. It sounds disgusting, but that's what's happening. Where your throat's healing, the scabs come off, and the pain is pretty damn bad. I'm not going to lie to you. I was in a lot of pain. I still managed to eat. I forced myself. It took me 2 hours to eat my meals sometimes, but I forced myself to do it. But I was in a lot of pain. But the thing is, I was thinking of what can I eat. I mean, pastas were very good to eat when you get to that pain level of where don't be too hard on yourself with what you're eating, because in the first 5 days you can really eat anything. Maybe not crisps, but you can eat kind of what you want. But certain things you won't want to eat. Bananas feel horrible for whatever reason. They just get stuck in your throat and they feel painful. I wouldn't recommend crisps, but really up to that point you can kind of eat what you want. It's when the scabs start to come off is when you're going to have to probably, unfortunately, be a bit more careful what you eat. Well, I did anyway. Milk as well, or coffees, milk, anything milky tends to cling to your throat, so I'd say to avoid eating anything really milky, or drinking anything really milky as well, especially for the first week. So yeah, my pain level did change a lot then, and it was like an instant as well. It was kind of like, wasn't too bad, obviously very poorly and ill, to suddenly all hell broke loose. I'm not lying. And I was having to take more and more codeine. I had to call up my doctors because I'd run out of painkillers, so they got me a load of them done, which was good, which did help. Make sure you take them about half an hour before you eat. But the pain, I'm not going to lie then, and actually what was worse than actually it was just as bad as the throat pain, was the ear pain. I got severe ear pain, really bad. And another thing I'm going to say to you, in the first week or so you really need to just rest. So as I was saying, the pain in your ears for me, my mouth was just as bad as what the throat pain was. And that's, like I said, it goes from not zero, but it goes from, say, like a level 6, 7 to like a number. For me, it was like over 10. It was so painful for a few days. But the thing is, if you've had severe tonsillitis in the past, you're going to be able to deal with it. You really will. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it was really painful, but you have to force yourself to eat. You really do. And one thing I would say as well, another thing, is to do with the throat. In the first 7 days, you're going to have to really take it easy. Don't do any lifting, because I found to bend over like that at all really hurt. It really did hurt my neck a lot. My throat, horrible. Really horrible. I tended to sleep a bit upright as well, because I just felt better sleeping a bit upright. I don't think you have to do that, but I did get extra pillows and I sort of slept upright. It just made me feel better. Drink a lot. Make sure you drink as much as you can. You'll need that, because your throat will get dry really quick. You need to drink a lot of water. And with regards to food, getting into the second week when it was more painful for me, I'd say pastas, ice cream, anything soft really, but just because the pain was severe. That lasted for about, when I say severe, it was still, it wasn't like it constantly, it was on and off, you know. I don't want it to seem worse than it was, but it was very painful. I'm not going to lie to you, it really was. So I'd say make sure you take your painkillers at a time, especially for that week. And if you're in so much pain, you feel that you've run out of your painkillers from your doctors, for one, make sure you call them up and tell them if you're in excruciating pain. I was lucky that the painkillers they gave me really did help. They really did help. I would not have been able to get through it without them. I really couldn't. I wouldn't have been able to at all. But yeah, the second week when your scabs come off is when it really does hurt. The ear pain, like I said, was severe, and yeah, just eating was really hard, but I forced myself to do it just because I didn't want to get an infection. I wanted my throat to heal as quick as possible. So you will be signed off work for 2 weeks, you know, for definite. I needed a little bit longer. I felt too exhausted to go back in on like a Monday, so I had an extra 3 days, which isn't that bad, but I just needed those 3 days because I hadn't been outside for 2 weeks, and when I went outside I felt exhausted, I felt knackered. I actually had to come home and go to bed because I still wasn't well, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be painful. You are going to be in pain, but you have to think it's going to be worth it. So in a nutshell, tips on, you know, what you need to buy before the operation. Make sure you have painkillers. You will need to call up your doctor probably for extra painkillers, so be prepared about that. Make sure you have extra pillows. If you want to be watching Netflix and stuff like that, get everything, you know, all your programs you want to watch stacked up, but I just wasn't in the mood to really watch any. So painkillers, extra pillows, I mean, make sure one of those neck pads as well, they can help as well. If you're feeling really, if your neck's in such a lot of pain, which it probably will be, the neck pads can help. Make sure you have like some ice poles, some kind of ice in your freezer, so that if, you know, you do have a bleed, they will ask you to put ice in it, so, you know, try and suck on something like an ice lolly or something like that. Stock up with that in there. And for food, just basically maybe have pasta. I found really easy when my throat was hurting. When I say really easy, one of the easier things to eat when my throat was really bad. But don't try to, you need to eat coarse food as well. They will tell you to have coarse food. Make sure you have plenty of water. I'd got bored just having water on its own, so I had some squash in it, so make sure you get some squashes. And yeah, just rest up. You really, if you can get a humidifier, use one of them. That's supposed to be really good as well. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be painful. First week, as I said, don't worry about it too much. But your second week, it'll be more painful, but you'll be able to deal with it. I promise you, you will be able to deal with it. If I can dealt with it, you'll be able to deal with it. But I'm not going to lie, I was in a lot of pain. I didn't get much sleep for 2 weeks, especially 10 days. I got very little sleep. But you know, the actual severe, I mean, like I said, the first week, even though it's painful, it's in the second week it gets more painful, and it's short-lived. You know, you'll probably have 4 days of being in a lot of pain, and it's gone. You know, it's gone, and you will start to feel better. Like I said, I needed an extra 3 days just because I was absolutely exhausted, you know. So if you can get someone to help you in your first week, please do it, because you won't be able to, they'll advise you not to go outside for the first week and then start going outside in the second week if you can. I was just too exhausted to do that. Make sure you have your anti-sickness tablets just in case you need them. And yeah, I mean, don't worry about it too much. I worried myself silly over this when I shouldn't have done. Though I do have to go back to the doctors. I'm going back to them just because you know, I just wanted to have a look over my throat. Compared to how it was, like I said, I'm 4 weeks post the operation, it's so much better. So I have a little lump, I'm not sure if it's scar tissue or whatnot in there, so I just wanted to have a look at it. But you'll get better, you will feel much better after it. I used to get loads of tonsil stones as well, so that was half the reason I was so pleased to get these out. And you get such a gross taste, and I haven't had that gross taste at all since having them out. Not that gross taste. If you get tonsil stones, you'll know the taste I mean. That gross, like something has crawled into your mouth and just, you know, exploded. It's absolutely disgusting. So you won't get that. So just think, no more tonsil stones as well. No more tonsil stones for you, because a lot of people like myself who've had reoccurring tonsillitis do get tonsil stones, because you get the little indents in your tonsils and all bacteria gets stuck in there, goes all white and hard, and just absolutely disgusting. But like as I said, you will get through it. It won't be as bad as you think when you wake up and everything like that. Second week will be a bit worse, but it probably on the whole might not be as bad as you think. Now I'm not going to lie, I did feel really poorly, but you don't work it up into your head to be anything worse than it actually is, you know. So but I'm going to end this video now. I don't want to go on too much longer about it, but try to be upbeat about it and just think no more tonsillitis and those horrible throat things, tonsil stones when you have those out. So just think about that. I'm 36, so obviously I'm relatively old to be having your tonsils out, and if I can manage it, you can manage it. But if you do have any questions about it, feel free to message me. I have all my social media links listed down below. You can comment in the comment section. I try to reply to everybody as quick as I can. Might not be the same couple of days, but I try to reply to everyone within the week. If not, I normally do it the first day, but sometimes life gets in the way. So anyway, I hope you found this useful. I really do, and if you're having this operation, I wish you a speedy recovery. Please subscribe if you're new. Hope you have a lovely day, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.